Name of podcast. I go by the name of Sierra.
I'm Leah.
And yeah, here we are podcasting because, well, YOLO.
Yes.
For one.
Yeah. Very
for
important.
Two, this is something we decided to do because we are creative individuals, and this is one of the creative avenues we haven't yet explored.
Yeah.
So here we are exploring.
We're both really creative, and we worked together before, so we came up with a lot of ideas for other people.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, let's do a podcast, and we were like, what should we name it? And then all of a sudden,
no name.
Yeah, we just weren't creative enough to come up with our own name. So we said name of podcast, and that way we can just talk about whatever we want, and our niche is having kind of no niche.
And we're both big sisters.
Yeah.
And we give off big sister vibes, so we wanted to bring that to the podcast and to you. Today, we're going to talk about our solo era. If you don't know,
I'm married. I'm not wearing my ring right now. I'm so sorry to my husband.
It's getting cleaned.
Yes, sure. Yes, I am married.
Mm-hmm. And I am still in my solo era. So you get two perspectives today, which I think is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's married in her 20s. I'm single in my 20s. You might be married. You might be single. So take a listen.
There's something for everyone.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So it's my solo era.
The world wants to know, Leah.
Oh, do they?
What was it like being single before even finding like your boyfriend, husband?
What was it like being single?
Yeah, like before you even knew your husband.
Before I even knew Christian, it was wild. Like I wasn't single until I got saved.
Okay.
So I think that's important for me. I guess.
Do you think you were able to be like single and by yourself because you were saved?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because honestly, it wasn't until I got saved that I realized I was like, you know what? There's something wrong. Like, like let's be real here. Like, yes, there was definitely something wrong with my crazy ex-boyfriends. Mm-hmm. Like, they're crazy. Mm-hmm. Bless them. But there was also something wrong with me. Like, why couldn't I be single? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, why did I have to jump from guy to guy or feel like I needed to always look for something? And then I got saved and I realized, you know, I need to focus on Jesus because he was going to be the person that made me right. Mm-hmm. But I also needed to work on myself because there was just a lot going on inside that, like, I just didn't want to make mistakes that I've seen, like, my parents make, my family members make, my friends around me make. I didn't want to continue that tradition of, like, just unhealthy relationships. So I was like, okay, no, I need to focus on me and getting myself right. And that looked like getting myself right with God.
And how did you do that? Like,
I just, like, delved in. Well, one, I got saved.
Yeah.
Step one, go get saved. Two, I just delved into, honestly, just God and that relationship and finding out, like, who was I created to be. You know, really learning who I am, what I like, what I don't like, and healing. What does it look like for you to be in your solo era now?
What does it look like for me? Well, I've been technically single for like 5 years, technically.
Yes.
Technically.
Yes. Yes.
But I haven't been like actually solo for like maybe
Let's be real here.
Okay, maybe like a yearish.
A yearish. Okay.
I feel like a yearish, yeah. But within the 5 years is where I like when me and my ex broke up. That's where I found like Jesus, and like it all kind of was like a divine heartbreak because my lesson is like I had to be broken down in order to be built up with Christ.
That's good. That's so good. Stop right there.
And then, obviously, I have not been perfect. And then, obviously, I have not been perfect. but I think I really needed that in order to find Jesus on my own, because obviously, like, my family has gone and I have gone, but I've never, like, really took interest in Jesus because he was just always there. So it was just like, okay, whatever. But, like, I had to go through the brokenness of that breakup to really, like, find him. Mm-hmm. In the last year, I've really been just, like, dating myself and taking myself out, doing, like, devotions in the morning and stuff like that, just to, I don't know, just to, like, know me a little bit better. And that has, I think it has grown me a lot, actually, in the last year, because I'm able to do things on my own, and I'm more comfortable being by myself and, like, being single and solo. It's just made it a lot easier, although it is kind of hard. It was hard for me to, like, take myself on dates because it's kind of weird. Like, why am I here by myself with nobody, or why am I going to the movies with no one? Like, this is freaking weird. But it turned out to be great. And yeah, and I honestly haven't really developed a huge community of people because I am a solo girl. Like, I don't know. I just don't have a huge community of friends. Mm-hmm. But I think I have put in the effort to make friends, even if they're not, like, super close friends. I know that there's people that I could call and they would care if I, like,
if you needed them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, genuine friendships. Like, genuine relationships with people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is a word, because I feel like in your solo era, you can be really present if you let yourself be.
Yeah, and I think it's important to be, because, like, a lot of times you can dwell on, like, oh, like, I really want a relationship, or I don't have friends, or I don't have this, I don't have that. But, like, once this solo era is gone, like, it's gone. Like,
it's
Leah's not ever going to be solo again.
It's gone. It's not coming back.
It's not coming back. So it's, like, very nice to just, like, sit in the moment of where you are, because one, you never know why Jesus has you there.
Yeah, that's true.
And two, there's so much that you can learn and develop on your own, and there's things that you can't do when you're married.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's things that you can't do when you're single as well. But, like, I feel like it's just important to just, I would say, just, like, accept where you are. Like, I wouldn't say be content, but, like, still want to strive for more as well.
Yeah.
But just be happy where you are right now, if that makes sense.
That's, like, kind of sick. Because the thing I was reading today about being single was literally talking about being content, but also, like, not diminishing where you are, not over striving, being content, but also it's okay to desire more.
Yes, there we go. There's the words.
Like, in every season, be content, basically, in Philippians 4:10. And I'm like, yeah, because I feel like whenever I talk to somebody who is single but, like, not enjoying it, I feel like it's because they're not satisfied with where they are in life, or, like, being in your 20s, like, I'm 25, you're 27, right? Like, I feel like the older you get, if you're single, people are like, why? Yes. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Especially being Christian, like, I feel like...
You should have been married 2 years ago.
Like, like, why aren't you married yet? You should be having children. Like, there is such, like, a stigma with Christian girls, I feel, like, to get married really fast.
And young.
And super young. And...
Which is fine.
Which is fine. If you're doing it, do it. Good for you. Like, you know? But, like... I just feel bad because I feel like that pressure of people being like, why aren't you married? So I feel like it's like people like feel ashamed that they're single, but I don't think you should be. Like, in your solo era, like, what are your things that you're doing in your solo era to make it, like, beneficial? That's a weird word. To make it, like,
worth my while.
Worth your time, worth your while, worth everything.
Okay. I think just dating myself, and I really need to get in the gym. But once I do that, and honestly, just self-development, like, just, like, personal development, like, just bettering myself with everything. Like, I'm learning how to date so that when I do actually get a boyfriend and a husband, like, I know what to do, kind of thing, because the examples I have aren't the greatest, and I want to be the greatest wife that I can be. For me, I have, like, not friendship issues, but I want more genuine friendships.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of learning like how to communicate with people, and there's a thing also called identity switch, where you kind of just switch your not identity like who I am, but like who I want to be and how to get there type of thing. But they just make it sound
like your goals. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just doing all of those things.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who like hates that they're single right now?
Don't hate it. I would say
don't do it.
Don't hate it, because there's really, yes, it gets lonely, and I think even people in relationships and people with friendships feel the same way.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is anything really to hate about it. I think you have to find what's there to love, and I can't tell you what there is, because it's your life, and you have to really sit with yourself and figure that out.
Yeah.
And it may not be easy, it may not be pretty, but you gotta get through the rough stuff to get to the good stuff. So, and it might not be healthy, and if we're in our solo era, we want only healthy things.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Healthy dating, healthy marriages, but it starts with healthy singleness. Exactly. What I would say is, if somebody hates being single, why do you hate being single? Like, what are you lacking that you hate it? You know, like, is it that you're lonely? Is it that you don't feel like you're loved? Is it any of this? Because honestly, unless you figure out why you hate being single and fix that by yourself, it's not gonna go away when you find someone. As much as I love Christian, and Christian does so much for me, and he's very present and he loves me very well, like, he does not take away my insecurities, and his love does not fulfill my insecurities either. Like, he could tell me, like, oh, you're beautiful, Leah, but, like, yeah, in the moment it feels nice, but in general, like, that doesn't just there we go. Now I feel beautiful and fantastic.
That'd be nice.
It would be awesome, but that's not how that works, you know? On the spiritual side of things, like, that's your time to, like, glow up with the Lord. Yeah. Because, like, he's the only one that's going to satisfy those needs. And honestly, there's, like, I don't know, I feel like it's such a flex to be able to, like, go into a relationship not really needing, like, that person's validation. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's like you don't need them, and you don't seek their validation, but they compliment you. Yeah. And you guys, like, are good together.
It's like,
but you don't need each other.
Yes. You don't need each other. Like, you shouldn't, like, be in need of that person, because that's where you get, like, desperation. Yeah. And then that's where you're going to, like,
it's unhealthy.
Yeah. It's just going to get really unhealthy on both ends. Like, because that person could take advantage of that, but also you could be putting, like, a weird, like, pressure on that person to fulfill those desires. And also, like, I just feel like, going back to, like, the spiritual side of it too, like, I feel like if you're wanting, like, a boyfriend or a husband, the more you're looking for just that, the longer it's going to take. Yes. You know what I mean? Because in a way, you're kind of idolizing it. And, like, obviously we're not supposed to be doing that. It's like you're worshiping being married one day. You're worshiping dating. And, like, the Lord doesn't want it. Like, why would he want you to do that? You know what I mean? Like, it's not healthy for you, and he wants what's best for you, you know?
You're solo for a reason, and obviously there's something that God has for you to figure out, and maybe you haven't figured it out, or maybe you haven't learned your lesson yet, and he's so gentle and patient that you're going to be there waiting a while because you're not listening, and he's like, okay, fine.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, exactly. And it could be you prolonging the process, and that's okay, because you need to go through it as many times as you have to like, officially learn what you have to learn to be better for your person. And same thing, your person's probably going through the same thing. You might be fine and good and healed, but your husband over there, he didn't learn his lessons.
He's still walking around.
Exactly.
He's some hot stuff over there.
Exactly. So it's just a patience game, I think, with yourself, with God too, because sometimes you can get angry with God. Like, okay, that's like, good. She has this. Why? She's like, she does this, she does that. Why don't I have that? Like, one, you don't know the truth about people and what they have going on, and what
That's
they
true.
got
That's
to
good.
get there.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, you probably don't want what they have. Like,
No, you don't.
if you really knew what it took to get there, you probably would not.
Yes. Are you willing to pay the same price that other people are paying
Exactly.
for their stuff?
So, and God knows. He knows you. He knows you're not going for
Yeah.
that, so that's why you don't have it.
Yeah. And there's like, you're yourself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the life and person you're wanting when you're single, it's not a bad thing to want it. The desire is not bad. It's just where you place it in your priorities that can make it toxic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like when you're seeing other people in their lives, like you said, you don't know what it took to get there.
Yeah.
You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. Because the world is like so like fake right now.
Mhm.
Like I'm only posting what looks
good.
nice.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So you don't know.
And it's probably not even that great.
Yeah.
It just looks grander.
We just edited it really nicely, and now we look like we're having a grand old time. Like, but in reality, most days, like we're just sitting on this couch and just
Exactly.
watching The Office.
Another thing in your solo era is like you're used to what you had,
Mm.
so there you don't really know what's out there and how
Mhm.
good you can have it.
And what you need. You don't even
And
know
what
what you
you-
need.
yeah. So
That's good.
like, and then when you get something better than what you can imagine, like you're like, oh, like this is what I was
Yeah.
waiting for, and it would
Mhm.
just be totally worth it,
Worth it.
as opposed to just like rushing into anything and just dating around or changing job from job to job
Yeah.
or something like that, just because you're not satisfied or content with what you have. So
Okay. To close off, what's something encouraging that you would say to somebody
okay,
who's single?
if you are in your solo era, I think you should throw a party.
Ooh.
Because this is a grand time for
Mhm.
you, regardless of your age. If you're 20,
Yeah.
if you're 25,
Yeah.
if you're 30,
Yeah.
if you're 40,
Talk about it.
and you're single, throw a
Mhm.
party.
Throw the
Because,
party.
like we said, like you're never getting this back.
Mhm.
And this is such a beautiful time to just spend with yourself. Like you want to spend so much time
Mhm.
and give yourself to other people when this is a time to like fill yourself up in a way that you have never done before. So if you've never filled yourself with Jesus, fill it.
Mhm.
If you've never filled yourself with catering to yourself and taking yourself out and figuring out what you do like, what you don't like,
Mm.
or trying new things, do it.
Mhm.
Why? Because you're in your solo era.
Yeah, that's good.
What
That's
about you?
good. I like that. Touche. For me, honestly, it's the same thing. Like your solo era is all about you, and
Mhm.
enjoy it, because once you're in the next season, coming from a married person, and then it's all about you and somebody else.
Mhm.
You know, and not that that's a bad thing, but like it's just so nice that there's a season where God wants to just focus on you,
Yeah.
and like that's okay.
Oh, that's good.
You know,
You're here because God wants to focus
that's
on you.
good.
That's a
Oh my
good one.
gosh. Okay, yes. Okay, there it is. God wants to focus on you, so focus on you. Get your
Ooh.
healing. Let the Lord love you. Love yourself. Live your
Mhm.
best life. Like, this
Yeah.
is your time.
This is the name of your solo era.
Yes.
So name
God
it.
is focusing
claim it.
on you. Oh, that's good.
That's
I
a
like
good
that.
closeout. All
Well-
right. Peace out, guys.
Bye.
Bye.